Activa, your favorite holistic wellness and self-development coach, back here to share everything that I just shared with all my monolingual friends. So repeating everything in English. And as you guys know, I am always sharing things that I'm on and that I'm learning and that I'm going through at the moment. And for those of you that are following me closely, you know that I am in the middle of a huge growth process of trying to work through, recover, and repair another level of trauma after having a CPTSD episode. And the good thing is, though, is that this is just a general topic that really affects everyone. So projection is something that we all do in order to protect ourselves and our emotions. So it doesn't matter if you're just a general individual or if you're going through something as deep as I am. This information is going to help you have better interpersonal relationships. So I got a couple articles as usual. One was Psychology Today, and I want to start with a couple quotes because it shows why this is so important, right? So the ego loves projection and hates reflection. So this is why a lot of times we, and myself, when I had this little thing, part of what was driving it was my emotional projection. And then another quote, what others do, say and do is a projection of their own reality. So when it seems like someone is being really, really overly upset with you, it could be that they're projecting as well. So this is a psychological concept. When I had psychology in college, I loved it. And so we're going to dive into it a little bit. But really, it's super easy to understand when you break it down. And again, it's something that's so important to understand that can happen when you're communicating and in conflict with people so that you can diffuse some of that. So projection is the process of displacing one's feelings onto a different person, animal, or object. The term is most commonly used to describe defensive projection, which is attributing one's own acceptable urges to another. For example, if someone is continuously bullies and ridicules a peer about his insecurities, the bully might be projecting his own struggle with self-esteem onto the other person. The concept emerged from Sigmund Freud's work on defense mechanism and was further refined by his daughter, Anna Freud, and other prominent figures in psychology. So what is projection? Unconscious discomfort can lead people to attribute unacceptable feelings or impulses to someone else to avoid confronting them. Projection allows the difficult trait to be addressed without the individual fully recognizing it in themselves. So what's an example of projection? An example of projection would be a married man who is attracted to a female coworker, but rather than admit it to himself, he might accuse her of flirting with him. Another would be a woman wrestling with the urge to steal who comes to believe that her neighbors are trying to break into her home. So, how does this appear sometimes in everyday life? Projection can occur in a variety of contexts, from an isolated incident with a casual acquaintance to a regular pattern in a romantic relationship. But learning to recognize and respond to projection can help people understand and navigate social conflict. So this is why it's important for everyone. So why do we do it? There's various reasons that was mentioned in one of these articles. So our ego. So our ego is the personality that we try to display to the world. Like this is what we believe our personality is and what we believe the world views our personality as. So we tend to believe that we are mostly perfect in the way that we're giving off our personality. And so if there's attacks against what we believe that we are displaying to the world against our ego, then we want to defend ourselves. Lack of awareness. So part of the ego resides in the subconscious mind. Part of it is conscious, part of it is subconscious. So the projection response is largely unconscious. So until we notice its signs in our mind and body, like physical tension, mental obsession, we will be unaware that we're actually doing it. Psychic resistance. The whole point of projection is to offload feelings that we don't want to feel, usually aggression, sadness, shame, onto others. So we're projecting because our psyche is resisting those negative feelings and we don't want to feel them, so we're offloading them. Habit. If we've been projecting for years onto a person or group, the pattern may be so ingrained that it operates like a built-in defense. Exhaustion. We're more likely to project our feelings onto others when we're tired, tense, stressed, or feeling run down. Our real shortcomings. So there are always ways in which we fall short. So trying to maintain a sense of self-worth can be challenging. It's much easier to blame other people than to struggle with our own feelings of shame or disappointment. The real shortcomings of others. The people who bug us are not perfect either. They may well be displaying antisocial or inappropriate behavior. Distinguishing the difference between our stuff and theirs isn't easy. So how do we get out of it? We want to notice our preoccupation. So projection has characteristics that distinguish it from mere irritation. Some of this is an inability to let go of our focus on the other person. This comes with intense feelings and a conviction that you're not like that person or group at all. It's kind of a mental blaming and self-justification that can go on and on and on. So look inward. Projection is, by definition, a turning outward. The first step in overcoming it is to make a shift to self-awareness. Get conscious of what's happening. So take stock of how you're feeling, how you're breathing, focus on you, and so on. This will help interrupt your obsessive focus on the problem person and redirect your attention to where it can do some good. Calm yourself. Focus on your breathing to stop the word chatter in your head that's justifying the projections. So do some deep breathing, grab your essential oils, do whatever you need to help with your emotional regulations, do some touch therapy, listen to some soothing music if you have the opportunity. We talked about walking away when the emotions are high already, but calm yourself down. Notice your body. If you sense that you may be projecting, do a body scan, notice, and I know for sure when I'm triggered, right? Which when I'm triggered is when I'm going to be projecting. I start to feel tension in my neck and my shoulders. So do a body scan. Think about your eyes where you start to get fatigue and sadness. Your belly, if you start to get like a stomach ache or anything. So notice all of these sensations without trying to explain them in relation to another person, which can be very challenging. Get real. So difficult people may well possess the same negative traits that we disavow in ourselves. We often project into reality, meaning if we're a very critical person, we'll project it onto something who actually is critical. But they're not only critical, and you need to try to see them in their full humanity. And if they're truly toxic, you do need to shield yourself from them rather than making use of them to disown parts of yourself you don't like. Trade places with the other person. Think to yourself, how would I feel if I knew somebody else was thinking about me the way that I'm thinking about X or Y? This can help convert the other person from a symbol of something that you don't like, usually in yourself, into a human being who, like you, is probably just doing the best that they can. So how can you tell if you're projecting a little bit more? When your fears or insecurities are provoked, it's natural to project. The first thing you want to do is walk away from the conflict. Try to describe the conflict in objective terms. Describe actions that you took and assumptions that you made, and then describe the actions the other person took and assumptions they made. By reviewing that and doing some of the other steps that we just talked about, you can help diffuse the situation. So how can you tell if someone is projecting onto you? If someone has an unusually strong reaction to something you say, or there doesn't seem to be a reasonable explanation for their reaction, they might be projecting their insecurities onto you. Take a step back and determine if their response doesn't align with your actions, and then it may be a signal of projection. A harmful consequence of continual projection is when the trait becomes incorporated into one's identity. For example, a father who never built a successful career might tell his son, "You won't amount to anything," or "Don't even bother trying." He is projecting his own insecurities onto his son, yet his son might internalize that message, believing that he will never be successful. So although it's difficult to do, individuals who experience this can try to remember that the critiques are not about them, they are about the other person, and be confident of who they are outside of that relationship. So that is what I want to share with you. As usual, don't forget to give me a wave, a hi, a hello. Let me know what city, state, or country you were watching me from. And if you're watching the replay afterwards, no matter what the venue, Instagram, Facebook, or later on YouTube, then hashtag replay to let me know that you came by. Hopefully you got something out of this and you can review maybe some interactions like I've had to do in the past and figure out maybe sometimes I project a little bit more, and now I have some practical steps to get through that. Thank you guys. Have an amazing day. Talk to you later. Bye.